Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, and fantasy players of all formats. This is my Game Week 4 review and Game Week 5 preview. We scored a total of 77 points for Game Week 4, and it honestly could have been a little bit better if Cucurella wasn't benched. Rangers didn't miss, and well, relatively easy 1-on-1 at 3-0. So could have been a little bit higher than 77. But our overall rank is 2.5 million. Excuse me. We jumped, I believe it was 1.7 million in the ranks because we were previously at 4.2 million. Um, so we're on a pretty good trajectory at the moment. Hopefully this increases. There's a few midweek games we have our eyes on, and if you've seen the recent upload for the UCL Fantasy, you will 100% know what I am talking about. So, to recap, Cucurella was benched for Chelsea, which I did not see coming. I thought it would be João Pedro that may see some limited minutes, potentially off the bench, as he had just gotten back from playing for Brazil. Anyway, he assisted. Cucurella did nothing as he came off the bench. Sanchez didn't keep it clean because they drew with Brentford. And we got a total of 10 points from our 3 Chelsea players. Daniel Munoz got carded for Palace whilst keeping a clean sheet, so he ended up on 5. Pedro Porro, again, clean sheet. Kind of has me thinking maybe Spurs are potentially trustworthy in defence. Not entirely sold, but I'm sure we'll get to that shortly. Virgil van Dijk scored 8 with some bonus points and a clean sheet against Everton. Cody Gakpo blanked alongside, for Liverpool, again playing against Everton. Mohamed Kudus, he is potentially on the chopping block. The only issue is, don't know exactly where we will go because at this stage, no one is really putting their hand up. So potentially we might be rolling this week. We did do Cunha to Semenyo, who scored and assisted for Bournemouth, which was fantastic. Rangers, as we spoke about before, he missed a relatively simple one-on-one, ended on 3. Pedro obviously got the assist, and Haaland saved the game week with a brace against United. So, as I said, we scored 77. We moved into 2.5 million, which is a lot better than what we had been doing. Dubravka, well, who would have thought that he would outscore Sanchez? Definitely not me. Never had any thought to play him over the Chelsea keeper, so can't have, I guess, any hindsight there. Elliot Anderson finally hit his DEFCONs against Arsenal, but we were always going to bench the Triple Forest boys against Arsenal. Nico Williams, obviously, they let 3 in. They did have some injuries in the defence, so kind of makes it a little bit less solidified going forward. And Chris Wood did nothing, which is kind of a repeating occurrence for him at the moment. But this is how we went for game week 4. And if we move on, this is potentially how we're going to line up for game week 5. Now, I know there's midweek games. If you've seen the most recent upload for the UCL Fantasy, you would know what I'm alluding to. But this is how we're lining up prior to the midweek games. Obviously, it doesn't affect FPL scoring, but there could be knocks, there can be injuries involved. I mean, we have Sanchez, Porro, Gakpo, Pedro, Haaland, Virgil. They're just playing in the UCL, so there's a little bit going on there. So we'll see what eventuates prior to the deadline. But our biggest conundrum for game week 5 is going to be who to captain. Now, Haaland's in amazing form, but Arsenal defence are just absolutely rock solid. So I'm not entirely sure which way I'm going to lean. Potentially Haaland, or it might even be Semenyo. I'm not entirely sure yet. But this is, well, I'm going to say 80% of how we're going to line up. We have Sanchez in goals, Munoz, Porro, Virgil, and Nico Williams for our back four. Gakpo, Semenyo, and Elliot Anderson are the midfield three. Erling Haaland, João Pedro, and Chris Wood for the three forward slots. That means we're benching Cucurella away against United. Mohamed Kudus, who I'm not. Uh, I'm not torn on that, so to speak. If we are going to make a transfer, it's potentially Kudos out for maybe even a Xavi Simmons. Obviously, depends how midweek goes, or we'll just roll the transfer. And Tiani Reinders will be the third bench slot. So, I think if I'm not going to play the Forest boys this week against Burnley, although Burnley were fantastic against Liverpool, and Liverpool only won 1-0 with a very late penalty to the inevitable Mohamed Salah. Liverpool ended up winning 1-0 this morning. Then I don't think I will play the Forest boys. Like, what's the point in having them if I'm not going to play them um, at Burnley away? Just doesn't seem right. So unless I play Kudos over Anderson, I'm not entirely sure yet. As I said, that decision will be made after the midweek games. But I'm fairly content with how we're lining up at this point in time. I think even Dubravka over Sanchez, depending on what happens. Again, I know there's a lot of talk on midweek, but you definitely cannot neglect that, and you must factor that in going forward now because the European competition's starting. I mean, yeah, definitely, definitely need to factor that in. Um, but Dubravka could potentially start over Sanchez. I'm not entirely sure. Uh, I mean, Forest don't look that amazing attacking wise. In saying that, new coach Ange a lot more attacking than Nuno, so I'd expect some kind of new manager bounce, even though we didn't see that against Arsenal. Although Arsenal are, as much as it pains me to say it, a very good side. But this is how we're going to line up at this point in time. As I said, we don't need to be making any transfers, I guess, to rush them. We can, if needed. We have 2 free transfers banked. I guess it might pay off just to roll and then launch into Arsenal around that game week 7 point in time. Potentially flip maybe a Williams, a Nico Williams and a Chris Wood to maybe a Jokeres and a Gabriel, maybe. I don't know. It's just a thought at this point in time. It's very weird. Normally I'll be all in making early transfers, and I'm really trying to be cognizant of that and obviously not do that. But as I said, this is the bus team for game week 5. More decisions will be made after the midweek games and prior to the deadline of the weekend. Captaincy is still up for debate, but I'm fairly certain, unless something drastic changes, this will be the team. There is a slight chance that Kudos, if he's hooked early midweek, may start over Anderson. Spurs do have Villarreal at home, so I would expect them to not easily win that, but I think they should win that. Um, And that is it for the Game Week 4 review and Game Week 5 preview. If you've made it this far, as always, thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to check out, obviously, the UCL video. That's over on the main Swordplay channel and on this one as well. If you're enjoying the content, you know what to do. Leave a like, leave a comment. If you're not subbed and you've made it this far, then honestly, what are you doing? Just drop a sub. Simple as that. Don't forget to check out the Supercoach Game Week 4 review and Game Week 5 preview as well. Definitely not going as well in Supercoach as we are in FPL, but in saying that, still on a very good trajectory. So hopefully that continues. So, as always, thank you once again. Don't forget to check out the main channel. Check out what the boys have been doing with the NBL Game Day squads. They're doing an amazing job with that. Content everywhere. Swordplay really is taking over. And once again, thank you for joining me. If you've enjoyed this video, then please like and subscribe. And don't forget to check out the website at supercoachswordplay.com.